And you're right. I'm wrong. I don't know about race cars.
Hey, welcome to Turn 4 Talks. I'm Nate as always. This is Pops. We're happy to have you. It was a good weekend of racing over in the Lone Star State of Texas. Always good. I honestly think that track is a lot of fun, especially the next gen cars and all the series, honestly. Just run pretty well there. And it's just one of those reasons it's an exciting mile and a half to watch. Definitely worth the tune in.
Yo, they say everything's bigger in Texas, man. That track is matured like a fine wine. There's bumps, there's things. Don't change that track, man. It is producing some awesomeness.
Oh yeah. So we'll dive right on in with the truck series. What were some of your takes and observations from the weekend?
Man, was that a crazy race? We'll get to it about, Carson riding a Dente again. I mean, wow. And Kyle Busch, Lane Riggs fan here, man. I was watching that 34 to watch him go up and down, and that thing was a rocket ship. I mean, I'm sure if that window didn't have issues, but there was a lot of going on in that one.
Yeah, they spent a lot of time down pit road. It was definitely. I mean, you're happy that they can at least get some points out of it, get back in, and keep fighting. They're still in the chase, standings and eligible, and they're not worried about too much about being on the cut line. So getting out there and getting some points, and even just salvaging a few more laps is definitely at least a savior in their moment.
Yeah, and Honeycutt, man, that kid, man, we keep trying to wind him up to the old Heim time in that car that he's driving from last year, but we got the cup whackers in there now, man, and they're showing up, which I'm kind of digging it, man. It's making people tune in.
Yeah, I think it's fun and it teaches the drivers a lot of things. I mean, it goes back 10 years, but there's a lot of current cup drivers who mentioned how racing against a lot of these guys who were already at the cup level taught them that they needed to fix certain things or they got to watch lines. I mean, we'll get to it in a moment, but watching Kyle Larson run around is helpful. I mean, there's probably a lot of guys who are watching him do that and going, all right, what can I do to be closer to that and improve my times? But sticking with the truck series, I think it it's good, and it gives drivers a shot too to stand out. We get into it in that sense, and it won't be the end of the segment. But I think Hocevar winning the trucks. I mean, he always showed speed in the trucks, and he's exciting to watch. It's cool to see actually Spire's truck program sticking out too. But no, it was cool to see the back to back Gentes, especially they whoever whoever proposed that marketing suggestion and has been running that program for 2 years now with the NASCAR relations. I hope they're getting a bonus or at least a nice little pay raise at the end of the year because they hit on all cylinders. I think.
Yeah, I'd be so curious about how that Chili's in Mooresville, North Carolina, how that business has tripled in the last couple of weeks. But there's no doubt about it. He definitely he was driving that truck, excuse me, like. He would stick that nose in there and dive in there just like he does. I mean, he puts on a show. So, giving a little more kudos to him every day. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, I mean, listen to the Dale Jr. download this from the Daigle week when he came on, which is really cool because a lot of winners just phone it in for a few minutes, and he full sent it with a near full guest segment. But he mentions in there how he was a little timid and he was trying to bring the cars home, so he was happy with a good day, but pretty much this year he had a change of mindset and pretty much said, I'm gonna go get those wins. I'm not gonna wreck the car if I can't don't have to, but I'm gonna go get these wins. I'm tired of sitting back and watching other people win. So I mean, he's proved that. I think that's where he's getting his speed from. I feel like if you weren't watching or if you were loosely watching the series, it'd be like, where's this guy coming from? But he's been there running fast all the last year and a half, and I really think it was just a matter of time. And then obviously proving that he was worthy of winning with the whole truck series this weekend too. And honestly is a good brand ambassador for Chili's, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's crazy to talk that I've heard in the last week about him being most popular driver competition for Chase. I mean, he played the Pretty Boy Floyd. He went to the Met Gala. As ZZ Top said, sharp dressed man. He was looking for Sabrina Carpenter. I mean, that's his girl crush there. But it's funny. He's starting to become a good. You know, Stewart for the sport for sure going out there. But let's get back into the greasy racing. I love it.
Yeah. Um, Speaking of, Kyle Busch was in that race.
Kyle, man, he bounced off the wall there, man. He bounced off racing hard, and you thought he was done there for a while, but
I think that kind of shows to prove too that with the whole Cup Series question mark, and again we'll kind of get into that a little later, but he definitely it's partially the Cup cars, and I mean he still has some talent, but he didn't go out and dominate this race either like you would have expected him to years ago. So I don't know, maybe that's equipment, maybe that's him, and maybe there are some signs, the cracks, but you know he at least showed that there's still some talent in the bucket.
yeah, Truck Series is still letting those guys go all twisted system with them trucks because you look at different angles of those things and they're all jacked and bent, and you're like, whoa, wait, did that happen because you hit the wall? Is that the arrow? But Tricon probably would have been the team to beat if it wasn't for Spire showing up this weekend.
Yeah. Anything else with the Truck Series sticking out to you, or is that?
Well, Gio right there in that overtime, man, he took control, but they showed him, and I know Honeycutt rolled into that third spot there and chased, but definitely impressive. Quick nod out to the Dodge drivers. It was good to see Parker Kligerman there in the 25. Oh, excuse me, what? He definitely he was running up there for a while. I know Minnie stayed out. Thought the pit stop thing there for a while. He got swallowed up by the field, but and Justin Haley took a hit that didn't look pretty, man. But let's move on, and we look forward to. Come on, mention some of these great guys showing up in that
Yeah, I
team
mean,
showing up, man.
well,
Some great announcements.
looking forward to Boyer, obviously. I want to call him McDonald's, but McMurray, as he's making a return, and it'd be fun to see some of these guys in the seat. I'm missing one, right?
Pastrana, baby. He
Oh,
just
yeah, the easy
yeah,
one.
he's trading in the two wheels for four again, man. So
Hey, he does well in the Truck Series, and I'm pretty sure he'll do pretty decent at Charlotte. He's got some experience, and it's not like he's nobody. But
it's good to see some all stars in that, and I know Allmending is going to be in that 10 some more too. So, with that said, man, yeah.
we'll move to the O'Reilly Series, which was an exciting race. There's a lot of comers, a lot of goers. I mean, and I know I feel like a broken record talking about that on Saturdays, but I mean, such good racing. You have guys you think early in the race, oh, this guy's got this in the bag. It's his to win or lose. And then all of a sudden, everything pivots, and you see Carson Kvapil immediately. I mean, Connor Zilic. Sorry, the junior motorsports number switching is really starting to get to me.
Cuckoo.
I mean, when you run five different numbers for two organizations through a season, and you're there at the top all day. I mean, I'd bring up Raja. Poor Raja was, not the Hendrick car with fortune, HendrickCars.com car with fortune. He, it was funny because you just watch as Larson zooming around, and then you look over and you're like, oh man, Raja's got to be a little annoyed. And then next thing you know, Raja's backing into the wall. And kudos on him. I mean, as much as that car still got wrecked, he really showed a lot of talent in saving that thing. But man, that number game switch is getting me because it was Quapple in the 9, and you're like, wait, huh? Yeah, but I mean, it's interesting to see, and Junior must obviously still see some benefit to it. Either that, or that's going to be a quick one and done for them.
Yeah, you see that level, and Connor was running that car. I know that right front gave out on him, and I think it just killed his day. But he was dancing with Lawson up there for a while. And again, I don't think Lawson had the fastest car in that race, but again, it's that experience of you know racecraft.
Yeah, and I mean, even in Allgaier's spot, he still ran well, and he definitely didn't get the runs he was hoping to on those last two or three laps to reel in. You could see he kind of got into one and two with Larson, but he just never made the time back in three and four on the last lap. But I mean, Allgaier still good points day, still finished well. I mean, you still think that he's sitting there going, all right, I'm not going to wreck two cars coming to the start finish line. And potentially lose 10 spots in point, not 10 spots, but 10 points, which could be a few spots in the long run of things. And, it showed his experience. I mean,
Yo, the second stage, man, you were grabbing your seat, man. It was in the middle of the race too. All of a sudden, you got the five in the middle, the seven on the outside, and Cruz on the bottom, and those guys were just all sliding around, and you were like, oh, you were just closing your eyes, like, just. I mean, come on, that was a crazy. I couldn't believe the three of them didn't all end up in the wall, man. But that was a crazy to watch.
no, you got to give credit to all three of those drivers because they were racing hard and they weren't giving any, but they were making corrections. They were fighting it hard. I mean, you watch Brent Cruz netting on the bottom side, and you see when he finally gets that little nose and the rear starts to go, he straightens it out and lets off a little and says, all right, I'm going to take a deep breath here and not wreck it. And I think that shows a lot for his racecraft. I think he's,
For a 19-year-old.
yeah. And I mean, uh, honestly, with 18,
Hey, well, there you go.
because he got the waiver to compete for the points, even though he missed the first four races, five races, because the age restrictions. But and we knew he was going to be decent and a good driver, in theory, if everything went according to plan. But I mean, he has been getting shadowed a little this year in that series, and I think that Brent Cruz is going to stick out a little more. I mean, in the same vein that I think he's, and not to backtrack to trucks, but like Caden Honeycutt, he hasn't gotten the win yet. He hasn't had the day that's impressed everybody and showed who his audience has been preaching them to be. But I think both of those drivers wholesale, in the same sense that Carson Hocevar has been, is they're there. They just need to fix a few things and get the right day and just keep pushing their luck in a good way. And I think it's only a matter of time before you see Brent Cruz in victory lane. I personally think he's better than Swalach. I mean, that's a debatable topic to the end of the day, and nobody will know for another 10, 15 years. But I think that Cruz has a more skill set than Swalach, and that's not to knock Swalach either. But I think out of the two Gibbs prospects, it'd be interesting to see which one ends up in Cup and which one sticks around longer.
Yeah, no, that's a well thought. I mean, there's no doubt about it. Because Matt Cruz, he's fun to watch. There's no doubt about it. I'll give him that. And the title sponsor there, the custard man on the side of that 41 car, man, that gave Mayer a little, man. He was making moves in racing. I know he pulled out the third. That 41 looked like a rocket. I know the double zero got up there for a while. He got a little loose there towards the final lap there, a few laps, and drifted back. But, man, the Chevys seem to be coming. I know it's Chevys, Toyotas. We don't have any Fords, sorry.
Yeah, nada.
Guess that doesn't work in this series.
No, it's tough. You kind of miss the days of Penske and Roush fielding a few cars, just so you at least know there's a few Fords. And there's always been smaller numbers with them. It's just definitely an interesting thing to see only two manufacturers in one of the divisions pretty much run it. So
Yeah,
hopefully things change. But I mean, Ford has been vocal about not necessarily caring about that series in particular.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And well, that mentionable again. I guess I should stop mentioning him as behind the scenes. He's in the top 10 in the points. He's been doing some consecutive top tens to Parker Resloff. He's still knocking it out, man. Still consistency there. You gotta appreciate it, man. There's no doubt about it.
He's working his way towards having a top tier ride. It's only a matter of time. And at this point, I think, if he gets one and doesn't perform per se, I think it's would be fair. But I think if anyone, he's not just there for namesake. He's not there for money. He's there for talent, and he hasn't been in the best cars. And you can only imagine what he would do in a Junior Motorsports or a Gibbs car, or I mean even RCR. But that's besides the point. I think just in general, if he had a little bit more, and that's not to knock Viking Motorsports. They've put a decent amount of money and really tried to improve these last 2 years. And like him or not, I think De Benedetto being there for a little while really helped that team because it gave him the old NASCAR Cup Series veteran perspective of, hey, this is what are you guys doing? But at the end of the day, I really think that that team's making improvements, and having Retzlaff behind the wheel is just a matter of time before that team gets its dues. And, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the chase at this point if he can just keep on doing what he's doing.
Yeah, well said. Just the beginning of that race, you know, O'Reilly series is putting on such a good show. It's probably, it's probably seems to be getting the most viewerships right now from what the TV things are saying. I mean, I'm watching them all, but I don't know why people are tuning in. But it's definitely some classy racing. And Rodney Childers, man, he's bouncing back from Carson, to he's got Zillich, and then he even had
I mean, the rotating cast for that.
it's a rotating cast, but he put together a good car. When that tire blew, your heart just broke because it was too late in the show for him to get back. But he was dicing it up, man, and I know that's probably feel good towards Sunday now.
Yeah, and speaking of Sunday, I think a good start is this was one of the first weeks, and I was giving Texas credit as the track because it's one of the first weeks there was a mix of people coming and going. It really was like true through the day. There was a lot of different strategies and cycles. There was some cautions that were interesting from beginning to end, even the caution periods and pit row, which we'll get to. But I think as a race as a whole, there was a lot of juice to it. And yeah, we might be a couple Chase fans, so there's a little bit of extra bias on the weekend. But I think all in all, it was actually an entertaining race to watch.
But you got to roll back to Saturday to qualifying because you watch qualifying and you pick apart some of the lap times and where people were running to oppose to Sunday's results and things that happened. I try to dive into that a little bit and try to pick it apart. But the seven looked like the car, man. I mean, Danny Boy over there looked. I mean, he was alive, like in that seven car. And then on that last run, you know, if you watch the ghost car, I mean, he beat him by like a smidgen, man, to the line. So,
Yeah, but I mean, talking about Suarez this weekend, I mean, he had a really amazing qualifying run, ran decent early in the first stage, and then eventually the car started to slip away, was near non existent in the second stage, and then got caught lucky during the third stage with some cautions and went from being a car that was potentially going to be a couple laps down to finishing above his teammates. And I mean, you got to give a lot of credit because honestly, that team, you take all the Gabe Hartle allegations aside, you got to really give Spire credit because they are showing. I mean, not yeah, Spire. Wow, my brain is still thinking he's Trackhouse, but yeah, you got to give Spire a lot of credit because with the host of our win, and then obviously seeing Suarez get some speed. It's not just a one-off thing. It's not a flash in the pan. It is Spire's actually putting the time in and really giving the drivers some resources. So
the research that Hendrick's doing, and obviously Trackhouse and obviously Spire are one of those affiliate teams. They're starting to find some little things with these Chevrolets, man. These noses. I know, like when we were back in, when Denny won and Chase was reeling them in there, you could see like that car started coming alive. So they're starting to figure out the nose of this car. There's no doubt about it. And I mean, qualifying proved that too. I mean, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and I mean, this is beyond my technical expertise, but you start to wonder at what extent that, I mean, a bunch of Chevys ran well this weekend. It was maybe either the Chevy teams as a whole, or this track just lends itself to what the nose was designed for. I mean, and that's a big question mark. That's beyond my pay grade, and I probably never know. But it makes you start to wonder if this is just the kind of track and the mile and a halfs that they were built for those noses, and it just impacted them negatively elsewhere, or if the teams are finally figuring out some setup adjustments. Because I mean, even we'll jump right into the Kyle Busch conversation again, but went from having a decent day in the trucks, wasn't dominant or anything like his old self. It was good, but then he had started qualified pretty well, and then he again, same as Suarez, had some moments where he was in the back, and you were wondering if his day was done. Still ended up finishing near the top ten. And
No,
he,
oh, Bush?
yeah.
He was running in the top 10 until he had that whole incident with John Hunter Nemechek,
Oh, you're
and
right. See
then he broke the front end when he hit the wall. It was over.
that threw me off because
No, but
he
he
had
was
that car.
consistent.
Yeah,
But no, it was adding up to that kind of a day. But
yeah, and I mean it's also interesting to see the Jim Pullman rug pull. Man, I'm he
no,
left.
Andy Street was there last year. I mean, I guess they figured, if it gets worse, go back to what you had and see what you get.
Yeah, I mean it's just interesting to think they tugged away Pullman and from Allgaier, and who won the Xfinity Championship last year and had good runs all year. Got brought in as being a Cup crew chief, and for Kyle Busch, got the pole at Daytona, and then literally 10 weeks later, you're sent back into the shop as a shop guy. And I mean, he's probably still compensated well, and he's still with the organization. But
Yeah, but they'll use him as a crew chief for the 33 when Hill or Love race one of these Charlotte races later on in the year or something. They're probably picking his brain and he's learning this car a little more. I would assume. I mean,
yeah,
nothing negative towards him. That's got to be a big difference in jump.
no, I mean, even you brought up Rodney Childers. You can see how much happier he is just working with a car he's more familiar with, even though he wasn't familiar per se with the O'Reilly cars. It's closer to what he knows than this whole next gen. He had to throw his whole book of notes out. And he must have found them in the dumpster because he's running well in the old series, which is similar to the old Cup cars. But yeah,
JRM looks like a fun team to work for. So,
oh
I
yeah,
mean, if Junior and Kelly's your boss, you got to probably be a little less stressed than Tony and Haas over there going, why aren't we winning?
yeah, and I mean, even RCR, you're still getting screamed at by Kyle Busch. Doesn't matter who's on the box and who's spotting for him. You're still gonna get a mouthful of, "Hey, why don't you just calm the hell down? You're running top 10. It's the best car we've had all year. Just take a chill pill." Which men never tell your women to calm down. It's not gonna
Or your
work.
crew chief. Oh, wait. Well, yo, psych major, put a bag of ice on your crotch and calm the hell down. Yo, I mean, that was like, that was pretty hardcore. He's like, dude. Yeah, that's, that's crazy. I just love that quote. Yeah, that you get Kyle Busch as a driver. That's what you're gonna get. You tell him to calm
Yeah, I
down.
mean, and I saw somebody on the Reddit the other day who was just like, "What is happening? Does he need help? He's like losing his mind over there, and he's becoming unhinged." And the entire comment thread was like, "Oh, you're new to this. You simply just don't understand. This is regular Kyle Busch, and we just got subdued Kyle Busch for a few years." But
Yo, angry Kyle Busch is a good Kyle Busch, they used to say, right? But if you got a sled that is plowing, you ain't gonna be able to go. So,
speaking of plowing, things that
oh,
I
here we
didn't
go.
expect to have on my bingo card here was that wreck and near miss by Joey Logano. And
Whoa, was that craziest thing you ever seen?
yeah, you know, almost any other situation or time of day that probably would have been the worst wrecks he's had in his career and would have been brutal for everyone involved and probably taken out a dozen other cars. But just the way it all worked out and just that pure skill and luck and probably a big mix
Whoa,
of
whoa,
it.
whoa, whoa! Back up, back up. You went from the worst race that you probably ever seen out of luck to what happened on pit row. I mean, that 41 stopped and he was looking at his gauge for like it's. I mean, just that little second, and it was over. And you gotta. It's funny how those teams are working from the spotter because every team's a little different, but your spotter calls you down, you're within 10 spots to your pit, the crew chief takes over and the spotter stays silent, and then you get out of your pit and the crew chief's taking you for where he can see you for 10 spots, and then the spotter picks you back up, and that loss right there was crazy, man.
I think the biggest part of it is, and maybe this isn't getting talked about enough, in my personal opinion, but it's the change to the single lugs. And I mean, we literally had the quote unquote fastest NASCAR four tire stop in history with Bubba's team running 8 point whatever seconds, 8.3 seconds. And, you know, I won't be old school and say, oh, it's better the way it used to be. But the guys, especially in Joey's case, has spent literally 10 plus years of his career thinking he's got 16, 20 seconds maybe before a car goes in and out of its stall. You're reading or reacting different. These cars, if you can dip off, stop 8 seconds, and then back on track, it's closer to Formula One esque. And I mean, even they aren't immune to it, but you see these, there's there's a change on the dynamic of pit row. I don't think the stalls being short is the problem. It's not even the shortest stalls on the entire Cup Series schedule. But I genuinely think that the shorter pit stops are changing the in and out timing of these cars. It's not the. I mean, we saw it with Allmendinger recently too, getting dumped around on pit row.
Yeah, him and Blaney,
It's
right? Yeah.
yeah, and it's happened a ton of times, honestly, this season. I'm blanking on other examples, but this is not the first time that there's been a mix up because the cars come in and out of their stalls. And maybe it's because of more cars on the lead lap than historically there've been precedent for. But I don't think you can just tie it to that, or you can't just tie it to the single lugs. But I think there's a lot of factors that are changing, and it puts uncertainty in an unknown. And when you think you're in safety terms, and like when you're working somewhere, it's when you get too comfortable doing something that you think you're good at and that you know what you're doing when things hit the fan. So
A lot of moving parts there. You got three different teams thinking three different points of view, and the 41 was going to be kind, let that other team get out to get in his box, and I mean, but he came to a dead stop, and Joe, I mean, the damage to the front of that 22 was
no, it
like
took both those cars out of the race entirely. It took a few laps before officially the
41.
41 decided it was time to roll in, but that whole rear end was messed up. And you think he made the right move coming to us. I mean, it's just like driving in real life. Somebody comes to a stop on the highway because there's somebody broken down in the middle of the road, and a guy in front of him's half paying attention, and he just barrels into him. You end up taking out both cars, and the first person wasn't right or wrong. I mean, because yeah, maybe it could have been aggressive, and the driver on the pit stall would have had to wait. But there's a level of courtesy in the garage area on pit road too that we we don't subscribe to in the sense of like I don't know. I mean, these guys have years of understanding with each other worked out, and you go and who am I to say that so and so should have done this on pit row and just taken the pit spot and just and cut off the car trying to exit. What do I know?
Yeah, I mean, it's a melee, and that's what we tune in for. I mean, if you start going, the first stage, that was all the rage. That was the wreckage and the mishap. As stage two started, playing out, you had, everyone was like, "Oh, time, time, it's time, time." He stayed out. That car was The car was great out there. I'll tell you, Booty Barker, man, one of my favorite crew chiefs when he's in that, they pull him back out now, for that 67. He does a great job, but that car was flying up there. I know Chase's car came alive there, and when they had a pit, man, he went to the point. Won
I'm
that stage too, man. From lap 152 when he got up there, it was his race. He definitely was the car that was on point.
well, I mean, bring up the Heim time thing too, and yeah, his pit strategy would have ended up costing him a bad position at the end of the race. I think, and yeah, it's easy to get up front because of the pit strategy and hold it, but he ran away with it. I mean, that most of that second stage, and it was apparent by the end of the stage he had to pit and that Chase was going to overtake him anyways. But it's not easy. I mean, just to grab the spot and hold it and just run away with it. I don't think that means all of a sudden that he's going to be a guaranteed winner. But I think he showed that he's understanding of these cars and what's expected. The two restarts that he did from up front.
Yeah,
I mean, he was good on the restarts. He gained
yeah.
position, got to the lead, and drove away with it. There's a learning curve to be had, but I really, if I,
It was fuel was his problem. I mean, handling with right side tires was not his problem.
yeah,
So he was able to manhandle that, but fuel was his reason for coming down too.
and
If
I
you
think
look at it,
and if Heim doesn't end up in that third 2311 car next year, or in another Cup ride, I think that's a big missed opportunity. I don't immediately think he's going to set the world on fire and win every race, but I really think that he's more ready than a lot of prospects. And I mean, I even say that half-heartedly towards Connor Zilic. He was probably as ready as he could have been, and honestly, the team has been really slacking and lacking for all three of those trackhouse cars. But I the few cup starts he had besides the Watkins Glen run, he was just kind of there. I mean, it's somewhat. I mean, what am I saying though? Because like Chase Elliott, his first few runs in the Cup Series in that 25 car, he wasn't in the
he was
show.
learning. Yeah, he was
Yeah,
there to learn.
but I think
Allen picked some hard races for him to run too.
yeah, and in a similar sense to Chase though, I think it might take a few years before you see the breakout. A lot of these things are good, but the pot's still boiling, and it's not ready to throw in the pasta yet. So.
Yeah, but speaking about that third car at 2311, I mean, Riley Hurst ran one of his best races in this Texas race. I mean, he was up front, car looked solid, he was hitting his marks. I mean, he really was. And go to Bubba. I mean, you spun in practice, didn't get to qualify. Kudos to them for bringing that home in 10th place. He dug all day too.
Yeah, I mean that team has definitely found something. And whether you want to say they're cheating or not, that's a conversation that's both we've already had and we'll have again next time one of them wins. But those cars in general are just running quick this year. They got them dialed in, and Riley Herbst is proving against the stigma towards him that he's just there because he writes a paycheck. He's the modern day Paul Menard. I mean, and as much as Menard was never the flashiest thing when he was at you name it, Yates, RCR, go through the whole field. But the dude brought the car home clean most weeks. He wasn't out here causing controversial moments. And then, he has some good runs, and one day it'll pay off, and I could see him having a win. The question is just, where does he end up? We got the Blaney extension, so we know Blaney's not coming to 2311. But where does he end up?
Yeah, and one thing for the product of racing, from 1 to 15th, the front guy was running like a 23:45, and the guy in the 15th was running a 23:90. So, they're that close. And, people saying they can't pass, but they're all running that close. I mean, it's just so close. So, the product at the end of that race. Like Chase got that clean air. He was out there. He was running. That caution came. I don't know what the hurricane call was on Denny there, but he told his crew chief, no, I need to stay on the front row If I don't stay on the front row, I don't have a shot at winning this race. He made that call. I know Chase did the fake going down pit road too, and he stayed out too.
That was one to cut you off, but that was one of the
Don't
best fakes I've seen in a long time. I mean, it's one of those things you come to expect to see, and half the time it's like, oh, they're just doing it to do it. But the two of them, you were had me thinking until the end of the day that both of them were coming down, and I still at this point I was like, huh? Where they just dipped right past that cone perfectly. That really shows some veteran experience, and I'm curious if they actually ended up getting anybody.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if people. Yeah, you didn't know that. You didn't know. I guess the guy at fifth or sixth that dove down pit row was it like, oh, I couldn't turn off fast enough. But that's a good question. But I guess all our eyes were on the front there for that restart, and which was a great restart. I know definitely. I know Chase had his teammate behind him with the push. Um, Denny had a Ford behind him, so I don't know. But kudos to Denny. You're starting to see this. I think I said it earlier in the year. I was like, how many times are we going to see these two finish 1-2 this season? Because I had that feeling like they're two strong cars. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Tyler's got the 5 wins, but Chase just is the second driver now with double digits. So,
No,
not to say Denny's not going to get another one, but
for everyone that says Chase has no personality, I think there's a bunch of people that missed, but during the pretty much some of the post race media, Chase was really talking about how he and Denny have built a respect for each other, and that comes a long way from Martinsville years ago, where the infamous moment happened where he puts him in the wall. But you genuinely, these two guys race against each other night or weekend after weekend, night after night, and for years now, and they're both there, and it's one of those you have to respect that the other one's going to be there, and they race each other hard but clean, and it's I wouldn't be surprised to see them 1-2 a few more times this season, as you were saying.
yeah, for sure. So that's something we're going to pay attention as we move forward. So, you know what? We always love a Chase Elliott win, man. That was awesome. And early in the season, which, is just momentum and just excited to see how this all turns out.
You got a single final thought for the weekend?
Watkins Glen, baby, man. The weather looks rainy up there. Guys are saying they want to race in the rain. It's going to be mayhem and cool, so we'll see.
Yeah, NASCAR already announced the racing of September and the chase next year. So this is a one and done early season. I think the schedule limited them hard. But we'll get to see Watkins Glen early in the season this year. Curious how it goes. Should be some fun names in the other series. I'm looking forward to covering it with you. And besides that, I think that was just a good old racing in the Lone Star State. And now we're going to the Empire State. We'll see y'all soon.
Hell yeah, man. Definitely. Love you guys tuning in, checking us out, man. Just get excited every episode to have you here, man. Do us a favor, smash that like, smash that subscribe. Check us out on social media. I'm posting crazy videos all the time now on Facebook. Try to make you laugh. I don't agree with all of them, but they're good stuff. And send us some questions, man. Facebook here. Nothing too crazy, but we love you, man. Catch you next time. Peace.
See ya.
They've done nothing wrong, and I will not tolerate it.